All right, Joe, March 7th, 2015. Man, we had a great show. We had a lot of changes here tonight.
Well, PK, of course we had a great show. You want to know why?
Why, Joe?
That's because I was here, PK. The greatest of the great, here to entertain all the ditch diggers, all the can collectors, all the lettuce pickers, all the aluminum recyclers.
Well, Joe, I think our fans would differ with some of the talent that we saw here tonight. But anyways, one of the biggest announcements we had tonight was we got a new commissioner, Anthony Marinelli. And we've got him here today. Anthony wants to step on here. Welcome to the O Recap here.
Thank you for having me, PK. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir.
All right, Mr. Martinelli, how are you doing? Manischewitz,
yeah, exactly.
macaroni.
Anyway.
Reno.
Well, hey, I just want to be one of the first to welcome you here to the OSWA. Tell the fans what you hold in store. I mean, you are an outsider coming in. You know, Mr. Popham decided he wanted to bring somebody in for a fresh start. So go ahead and tell us what you got for the future.
Well, I'll tell you, PK. Let me tell you. Absolutely nothing. That would just ruin the surprise, wouldn't it? You fellas have a great day.
All right, well, hey.
Well, there we go. There's a businessman.
Joe, I'll tell you something. I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of curious to see how he mixes things up. Well, Joe, I'll tell you something. One of the first things he did to mix things up was he called all the wrestlers out from the back. And he said, okay, you guys, you're all in here. We're having a golden golden ticket battle royal, and we're going ahead and start it right now. And bam, the action was on.
That's right. Every wrestler, the whole locker room was cleared, PK. Pure pandemonium in the ring, and it was only time was going to tell who was going to win it, PK.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you something. Ultimately, it was great to watch, and it was great for us to call, but ultimately, it came down to Matt Devlin and Jackson Carter.
Yeah, I know. Beginner's luck. Jackson Carter just comes back into town. Here he is, Johnny come lately, Mr. Newbie, and he lucks out, and he manages to get that golden ticket. Well, beginner's luck. That's what it is. That's what it is, my man. Mr. Carter, whatever his name is, Jackson. You know, I don't even know his name. That's how new he is.
Well, Joe, either that or you got a terrible memory.
Oh, well, shut up.
Then for our next match, it was for the Generations Championship. We had Kit Bryson versus Ken O'Sullivan.
That's right. Ken O'Sullivan, the tough man from Belfast, Northern Ireland, versus the man who was trained under the great Rod Bolt, PK.
Well, Joe, it's interesting because the great Rod Bolt, and yes, I'm using air quotes on purpose.
Well, you shouldn't.
Well, Joe, he basically came out during the middle of the match and stuck a thumb right in the eye of Kit Bryson.
Hey, there's a reason for everything that
I think the reason was he was a little upset because Kit Bryson beat Mr. Hollywood in the previous match.
Oh, there you go, rubbing salt in old wounds. You don't know why he did it. You'd have to ask him yourself if your blood was rich enough to ask him.
Well,
Maybe
Joe,
I will.
Ultimately, after he got that thumb in the eye, Ken O'Sullivan hit him with the luck of the Irish and got the pin 1-2-3, being able to retain his Generations Championship.
That's right, man. The tough man, the Irishman, the brawler from Belfast maintains his title, and once again, just a tough champion.
Well, Joe, then we had Rod Bolt and Lane Cross as a tag team versus the tag team of Completely Awesome, Zach Daniels and Chad Silva.
Yeah, they did pretty good. They did all right. And they managed to catch the victory. But let's face it, if it wasn't left to just Rod Bolt alone, it would have been a different story.
Well, Joe, Completely Awesome hit Rod Bolt with their finishing maneuver, the flatline, and they were able to get the victory. And I'm telling you, it's mixing things up here in the tag team division.
Yeah, that's right. I'm excited to see the future of the tag team division here at the OSWA.
Well, Joe, then we had Matt Devlin and Adrian Phillips teaming up with the Highlander Johnny Walker versus Dr. Bad, Nurse Blueberry, and a newcomer, Yanator Kostodian from Czechoslovakia. Man, we're getting very international here in the OSWA.
Yeah, some OCD victim from Czechoslovakia comes in here. All he does is sweep and clean like he's Monk.
Hey, Joe, I'll tell you something. I'd like to see him come to your house and sweep all the cockroaches out of your kitchen. I thought he did a great job.
You know what?
Well, Joe, ultimately, Matt Devlin, though, he hit Dr. Bad with a frog splash from the top rope. Adrian Phillips came down from the top rope, hit Dr. Bad with an elbow, and got the pin, giving them the victory.
Yeah, it was a group effort, but they finally got that victory. Well, good luck. Well,
Joe, aren't all tag team matches group efforts?
Well, that's different situations. They have forget it, PK. You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Joe, speaking of group efforts, our next match was for the tag team titles.
That's right.
And it was Keith Cage and Jamar Anderson versus the Dominion, only represented initially by the Monster Z because Vengeance had some broken ribs. Well, as the match started, the White Knight came out.
That's right.
And he teamed up with the Monster Z.
Stands by his friend. That's very noble.
And Joe, I'll tell you something. Jamar Anderson and Keith Cage, they put up a great fight. I was surprised how well they did, to be honest with you, because they're a fairly new tag team. They're going up against some guys that have tagged before, whether with each other or with others.
Yep.
And Joe, ultimately, Z was able to catch Keith Cage as he was coming down off the top rope by the throat.
No Herculean feet.
Hit him with a spine buster and got the win. But what's interesting is after that, Jackson Carter, who had won the golden ticket, and Will Caution, they come in, Jackson Carter cashes in that golden ticket. They hit Z with their finishing maneuver. They pin Z, and now we've got new tag team champions.
Truly a black eye in the history of the OSWA.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you something. It was very tense after that. Jamar Anderson and Keith Cage were not happy that they cashed in at that time, and basically they kind of felt that, hey, Jamar, and I'm sorry that Jackson and Keith and
Will Caution.
I get all the names mixed up.
Come on, PK, get with it.
Hey, Joe, for once you actually get to correct me on a good one.
Oh, shut up, PK.
They're pretty upset by their cashing in the golden ticket at that time. As a matter of fact, we got both of them here. Come on in, gentlemen. Keith, Jamar, welcome to the recap. What do you have to say about what happened tonight?
First off, to Jackson Carter and Will Caution, you know as well as anybody who is here tonight, you didn't earn nothing. We're the ones who is in the match with Z Williams. We're the ones who made Z Williams that tired, that groggy, that beaten. And then you walk in, cash in the golden ticket to take away our championships.
Better keep those tag straps warm, boys, because we're coming for them. And that's real talk. Let's go, Keith.
Well, for once I agree with those guys. Yeah, Jackson Carter and Will Caution wait until the Z was good and beaten down in order to get those titles. What a bunch of opportunists.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you something. Regardless, though, we got new tag team champions, and I'm telling you, I think they're a good team.
Yeah, they're fine.
Well, Joe, then we had Curtis Coleman versus Mr. Hollywood for the OSWA Corporate Championship.
That's right. And I'll tell you something, it was great to see the great one, Mr. Hollywood, one of the greatest wrestlers of the entire industry in the entire history of the world of professional wrestling, to grace our presence here at the arena tonight.
Hey, Joe, I got one question to ask you, though. Who's better, Rod Bolt or Mr. Hollywood?
Now, don't try and tear us apart. You know that they both are so great in their own way, but they're both the greatest.
Okay, well, I didn't realize that two people can be the greatest, unless it was a tag team. Well, anyways,
stop it. They were once part of the show.
It was a very physical match, but I'll tell you something. What was real interesting was Mr. Hollywood did something to finish the match that I'd never seen before. As Curtis Coleman came off the ropes, he basically hits him with almost like a modified spear, takes him down, slams him, and gets the pin, and retains his title. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not a Mr. Hollywood fan, but I was impressed by that finishing maneuver.
Very impressed, but at the same time, not surprised, because he's just too darn good.
Well, Joe, then we had our main event. Jake Hughes versus the man from the other side of the galaxy, Mr. Storm.
Right, yeah, from the other side of the galaxy. Yeah, from Biloxi, Mississippi, or wherever he's from.
Well, Joe, this was for the Ultimate Championship. Mystic Storm had won the Sole Survivor match. And then not only that, but Mystic Storm also put his contract up against the title.
What an idiot.
Well, I'll tell you something, Joe, it was a good match, but ultimately, Mystic Storm, he gets rolled up by Jake Hughes. Jake Hughes then puts his legs up on the rope for leverage in order to get the win.
Loser slump.
So now, Jake Hughes retains his title, and unfortunately, Mystic Storm has lost his contract.
But here's the fortunate part. Look at the champions we have, PK. Ken OSullivan. We got Mr. Hollywood. We got Jake Hughes. This is the golden era.
And we've got Jackson Carter and Will Caution.
Well, for the time being, but next week or next show, they'll be taken care of. But the point is, we have great champions, and this is an exciting time to come to the arena and watch our shows, PK.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you this much. I'm looking forward to the next show, as I do all the time.
Every time.
It's going to be on March 21st, 2015, bell time at 7 p.m. here at the arena. And I'll tell you something, it's going to be a great show as we start ramping up to Heroes vs. Villains on May 2nd.
I can't wait for that, PK. I'll tell you something, I love to see those villains, as they call them, go and pounce all over those pansy heroes.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you something, I want to tell our fans something. We really do appreciate you coming out here to support us. You can follow us, of course, on youtube.com/OSWA Entertainment, where you can catch the recaps that Joe and I put out. As well, you can look at us at facebook.com/OSWA Entertainment. You can also follow us on Twitter. And we look forward, and also we got our own website, OSWAentertainment.com. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks, and thanks again.